which is why I really recommend, instead of thinking predictively, think retrodictively. It depends on what you mean by conversation. You know, we're all going to have to go through border control, which means having a conversation with people at immigration. We're going to have a conversation with the taxi driver. And then we're going to have a conversation when we, you know, check into an Airbnb, into a hotel. We're going to have a conversation when we go to get our national insurance card or to register at our university or something like that. Things like that are highly predictable and you can quite easily guess what's coming. Now, when it comes to more casual conversation and small talk, honestly, you really can't predict what's coming simply because it is so variable, and you know there are so many things that people talk about, and it also largely depends on the kind of person that you're talking to. We can kind of guess that, you know, certain current hot topics are going to come up right now. Let's face it, you're going to end up having a conversation with somebody about bloody COVID-19. No matter how sick of the topic we might all be, it's going to come up. So things like that you can quite accurately predict. But when it comes to casual conversation and small talk, I think really the only thing that you can do is perhaps have something to talk about prepared kind of loosely in your head. But apart from really just having a topic in your head ready to go if you need it, I think trying to prepare for small talk and casual conversation, it's more effort than it's worth. And it's basically impossible to do well anyway, which is why I really recommend, instead of thinking predictively, think retrodictively. Because although conversation is quite chaotic and random, and we do end up talking about loads of different things, the chances are if we have a conversation with one person, it's quite likely we're going to have that conversation again. Plus that then also becomes the thing that you've got prepared in your head because you've done it once. Now you can do it again quite easily. So instead of worrying too much about guessing what might come, I always recommend really looking back to what you have talked about in the past. Here in Lisbon, I have had the conversation of, what do you do? Where are you from? Hard question to answer. Where am I from? Technically, I'm from the United Kingdom, but I haven't been back to the United Kingdom in 15 years. And I've had that conversation, like, it must be a billion times by now. Other things like, how did you end up pretty much living in Airbnbs permanently, which is what I kind of have done. And the conversation of getting stuck in New York for 3 months comes up fairly regularly. So think about the conversations that you have had and just assume that they're going to come back. And I think that is the best approach. So don't think predictively, think retrodictively, unless it's a situation where you can accurately guess what's coming. And those are going to be more formal, more structured situations anyway. For example, an interview, you know, we can kind of guess what's coming. An academic conference, a presentation, questions that come, yeah, we can kind of guess those things. Some random person you meet in a bar somewhere in the middle of Lisbon over a beer, no idea what's going to come up. I mean, for example, several days ago, I got chatting to a guy, absolutely fascinating Australian guy who works on like an oil rig, like a big boat, basically travels permanently around the world, and he works like 3 months on, 3 months off, 3 months on, 3 months off, and he's some kind of technical engineer drilling and digging up this oil. And I know nothing about oil. I know nothing about how the oil industry works. I know nothing about how it affects the stock market. We had a very, very long conversation about it, and it was quite a one-way conversation because I'm mostly just sitting there thinking, I know nothing about this stuff. So it's really a case of just asking questions and finding out about it. But there's no way I could have predicted that conversation. You just never guess that. You think, oh, I'm going to pop out for a quick beer, got some time to kill. 2 hours later, I'm talking about how the price of oil affects the stock market and the logistics of drilling it out of the ground. I mean, you can't predict that, basically.